Be careful who you friend. Okay, this isn't really all scary, while it was scarier in person. It isn't that scary of a story if that makes any sense. Okay, this is just more of a warning to others to be careful who you try to befriend. I am listening. Back in the late 90s, when I was finishing up elementary school, I befriended a new kid named Matt. He was a bit of a strange kid. Oh, I friended strange kids also because they were more open and you could get easy to make them your friends because, sorry, silencing my phone, because they didn't have friends, so they were very open to you. Like, am I making any sense? Okay. He was a bit of a strange kid, sat in chairs like he was a frog. Oh my god. Sorry. So I did not expect that, okay? This is a live reading. Like, I did not read that before. And talked to himself at times. Seems like a smart guy. I talk to myself always. As 911, what's your emergency? As well as did other things, other weird things. Eating his boogers? Like, that's not weird, right? Fast forward to October 2001, we were in the seventh grade, and my birthday that year fell on Friday. My parents told me I could invite a few friends over to hang out and spend the night. Wow, that's so cool. My sister was told she could invite our two female neighbor friends who were sisters to come over as well, so that she could have some female company. At first, I'd invited two other friends and hadn't planned on Matt being there. He'd acted badly the last time he'd been to my house, and we weren't getting along that great. If I hadn't felt sorry for him for how few friends he had, we wouldn't have been friends at the time. Okay. I told the other two I'd invited not to say anything about the get together while Matt was around. Matt had only me and my one other friend, Danny, as friends. Everyone else just put up with him. Anyway, Matt found out about the party. Yeah, they usually find out. What do you expect? In the morning, the day before the party, seventh graders sit on bleachers in the gym on one side of the gym, and the eighth graders sat on other side. My friend Danny kept trying to get me to talk about the party while we were waiting for the bell to ring to go first period, bro. I tried getting Danny to shut up about the party, as I didn't want Matt to hear about it. Like, shut the fuck up. Matt wound Matt wound up sneaking up on us and heard about the party. He managed to whine his way into me inviting him to the party, but I told him if he came, he was going to have to follow the rules. Fair enough. When we said it was time to turn off the Super Nintendo and do something else, it was time to turn off. He agreed, and that was that. The night of the party came, and our guest arrived. For a while, things went fine. We played video games and ate snacks and just enjoyed ourselves. Things went downhill fast after the first movie we'd watched had ended. Matt had brought over the first Scream movies on VHS. Okay, I miss VHS. We watched the movie, and Matt insisted on watching the music video at the end of the movie. We watch it, and I go to take it out of the VH player so that we could watch another movie and relax before going to sleep. Matt insisted on watching the music video again and pressed himself against the VCR, pressing several buttons. That's so annoying. It was, well, dear kids, what? The player stopped working and I forced him away from the machine so I could see if I could fix it. He was a skinny little thing, so it wasn't hard to do. My back was turned at the time, and my sister and Matt get into a shouting match a few feet away from where I was working the VCR, standing close, almost nose to nose. Matt ends up tackling her to the ground and straddling her hips while restraining her arms above her head. Oh my god, and pinning her wrist to the ground. Oh my god, someone, I'm not saying names, someone saw something at home. I turned my head when I heard them go down, and when I saw this, I saw red. My two other friends grabbed my from behind and tried to restrain me, but I was stronger and ended up dragging them along. My one friend, Jason, lets go of me and gets between me and Matt and my sister. Before I could do anything, Jason kicked Matt off my sister. Matt just lays on the ground and howls the most animalistic howl I'd ever heard a human make. This kid watched too much television. He gets up and runs in the kitchen and grabs the biggest knife we have out of the holder. Whoa, that escalated quickly. Is this a kid, like, from what are you saying, it's a guy that has been to prison at least 4 years, 5. Press the tip against this shirt over his heart and starts howling. He's going to off himself. My youngest neighbor was around 11, I think, at the time, and I can't remember her exact age, but she was a mouthy little thing and wasn't afraid to speak her mind. She walks in the kitchen and stands about 6 feet from Matt, telling him to off himself if he was going to. Scared he was going to stab her, I run into the kitchen and throw her over my shoulder. I imagine this. Sorry. Before running back into the den. The kitchen was next to the den, so I stood in the doorway and tried calming him down, but nothing worked. He walked out the door and stood on in front of the porch, doing who knows what about 3 minutes. He walks back into the house and into the kitchen before grabbing the phone hanging on the wall and calling his parents. Yeah, if you don't do it, I will do it. Like, what the hell? We listen in, we listen in as he told his mommy and daddy that we were being mean to him and begged them to come get him. Now I'm not being mean. He really did call them mommy and daddy. Okay. As soon as he was off the phone, he stopped his crying. Oh my god, that's a psycho killer. That's a psycho. God. And walking to the den. He packed up his stuff and glared at us before flipping us off. What? And walking out to the garage to wait for his parents to pick him up. You'd think the story would be over at this point, but it is not. There is more. Ooh, I'm scared. The next week at school, he'd walk past the part of the bleachers where me and Danny were sitting, look up at us, and does the throat slitting signal with his fingers. Bitch, calm down. We tried telling the principal who stood in the gym in the morning with the teacher. She made him sit in the office in the morning for about a week. But then he was right back to coming into the gym. The day after Halloween, he walked up to me in the hallway. He told me that he'd come into my house the night before and gotten things he'd left behind. What, off yourself? Sorry, but what? What things? That if he wanted to, he now knew how to get in and cool off me in my sleep. Excuse me, what? Now I'd been in the den the night before. At the time, he'd claimed he'd come to my door that was right by the den. I also knew he'd never left anything behind because I'd looked the day after the party, but still knowing then how unstable he was, I wasn't willing to take any chances. He was still doing the throat slit thing as well as threatening us in the hallway. Wow. He had some guts as we passed him, but made sure to say it low enough that only we could hear him, mainly about how he was going to off us in our sleep when we least expected. Wow, okay, bro, back the fuck up. We tried to go to the principal and complain a couple more times. Well, usually adults don't take you seriously. Before he'd claimed he'd gotten into my house, she'd done like the first time. The other two times we complained, he had sit him in her office about a week. Yeah, what a punish. But after that, he'd be right back in the gym in the mornings. One morning, when I was getting out of my mom's car, my sister, who was in high school and getting dropped off next, goes, "Oh my god, he's flipping us off." I look and there was Matt close to where the door was to go into the gym, glaring at us and flipping us off. What the At this point, me and Danny had complained several times to the principal and assistant principal about his behavior, but they seemed to feel sorry for him. Okay, feel sorry, then do something. And just told us, ignore him. I told Danny about him flipping us off when I got to the gym. We'd be talking about it for a few days and decided to go to the resource officer on our lunch break. We met with him and set up to have a meeting with him and Matt during the next period. When the time came and Danny and I walked into the resource officers, Matt was already there glaring at us. Matt tried to deny flipping me and my mom and my sister off, but the officer told him there was a camera outside hidden close to where we dropped off. He told him he had footage of him doing it, as well as if he didn't leave us alone, he'd step in and made sure the school system did something about him. Now, this is an adult that knows what to do. I'm so proud. He looked ready to cry, not so tough now, but agreed to leave us alone. He then took a note to get back to class. Danny and I thanked him for doing what no one else at school was willing to do. The officer told us no problem and to let him know if Matt bothered us again. Luckily, he never bothered us again for the rest of the time we were at that middle school. Thank God. Me, Danny, and Jason all got sent to a different high school than Matt. Approve. I don't know if Matt ever got the help he so desperately needed, or if he ever snapped again or hurt or offed someone. I don't think I want to try and find out. Yeah, Matt, wherever you are, let's not meet ever again. Damn, that's a crazy story. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you like the way I'm narrating them, even if I have an accent. At least I try, and I love reading the stories for whoever is here to listen to them. But damn, to be a kid and have so many problems, like this is a future adult that will grow into something bad if he doesn't get the help he needs. Like To be a kid and say those things, like threaten to off someone, is wild. And threaten to off yourself, like, bro, what? That's not cool. Like, get some help, Matt, please.